3 years ago, the world recorded the first case of a global virus attacking plants, and it began to destroy most ecosystems. Eating food infected with this virus caused serious autoimmune diseases. The loss of most plants caused the oxygen level in the atmosphere to drop to 10%, leading to an increase in natural disasters around the planet. Top laboratories around the world remain powerless in developing a cure, leading many to believe that Earth is heading towards the apocalypse. The last hope rests on the Gemini project, developed by Dr. Stephen based on two ancient extraterrestrial artifacts that paleontologists claim have existed for 4 billion years, before any life on Earth. Stephen's team successfully recreated the super durable material of the sphere and the alien engine, making replicas. This technology allowed them to build a spaceship capable of searching for a suitable planet for terraforming. This extraterrestrial sphere has the function of creating life through a series of coded commands that the team managed to decode. This also serves as proof that life on Earth was created by aliens. A team of scientists and military pilots was chosen to carry out the Earth 2.0 mission, with an experiment using the sphere at a star system hundreds of light years away. Stephen has a wife named Amy, who doesn't want him to join this mission. On the day of the launch, she went to the base to stop Stephen, but it was too late. Amy could only watch the ship leave Earth. As the ship passed through the atmosphere, a strange crack appeared on the extraterrestrial sphere, signaling that they might not be alone. Thanks to the alien engine technology, the ship opened a portal for interstellar travel, but upon arrival, the system malfunctioned. They did not reach the intended location, but arrived at a completely unfamiliar place. Stephen blamed engineer Peter for entering the wrong coordinates, causing him to be suspended from the mission. While Stephen rested, he couldn't stop thinking about Amy and the first time he activated the sphere, when he saw a strange humanoid shape appear and vanish immediately after. Stephen asked the team to try to reset the teleportation trajectory to determine their location, but the data was completely chaotic, as if they had moved between the third and fourth dimensions. Meanwhile, Peter secretly left his area, took a security camera, and checked the sphere himself. At that moment, the computer notified that someone had opened the repair compartment, and an unidentified object was approaching. The whole team was stunned to see Peter frozen, drifting in space. Dr. David thought Peter had ended it all because he couldn't bear his mistake, but Dr. Leona disagreed, asserting that Peter wasn't that kind of person after working with him for 8 years. Stephen yelled at Leona for crying over someone who had destroyed humanity, and ordered her to take over Peter's mission from now on. Later, David shared that he had also wanted to give up everything when his daughter died, but he chose to become useful instead. Now with the mission ending, he felt useless. Stephen reassured him that they would find a solution. At that moment, the ship detected a volcanic rock planet. Although there was no oxygen, the outside environment wasn't too harsh, and a breathing mask would be enough. Stephen eagerly wanted to land right away, but Captain Ryan stopped him, reminding him that they hadn't thoroughly checked the planet, and that Stephen was recklessly putting the whole team in danger. Ignoring this, Stephen reminded him that he was the one making the decisions. The team decided to use the shuttle to land, while Officer Richard stayed aboard the mothership. As the shuttle approached the planet, a violent storm suddenly appeared, forcing them to activate the deceleration system, even though this would deplete all their fuel, leaving them unable to return. This was their only chance of survival. When the ship landed, the whole team lost consciousness. During this time, Stephen dreamed of the moment he gave Amy the bracelet made from a shard of the old globe, a symbol of the connection between the two most important things to him. A while later, everyone woke up and immediately began working. The ship wasn't seriously damaged, but the fuel was nearly gone, leaving them stranded here. Stephen wasn't worried because the plan was to stay for 4 years, and he believed they could use the large caves as domes to activate the globe. Meanwhile, at a hidden area aboard the mothership, a strange liquid leaked from the walls. Richard checked the rooms and discovered this liquid, along with a missing camera. On the planet, the team prepared and brought the globe to the nearest cave. They successfully activated it. After returning to the shuttle, the team began collecting data. However, Ryan interrupted the work to announce that the station had been placed under martial law. He explained his decision by sharing the files Richard sent while the doctors were working. It was a video Peter had recorded while inspecting the globe, trying to prove he had not made a mistake. But when he opened the engine compartment, he saw something moving in the darkness, which suddenly lunged at him, killed him, and threw his body out of the ship. The camera couldn't capture the creature's shape, but Richard explained that it had followed them since leaving Earth, hiding in the globe like the Trojan horse. It might have caused the incident during the teleportation. Now, the creature was no longer aboard the mothership, but had followed the shuttle down to the planet. Richard could track it due to its ability to interfere with electromagnetic fields, explaining the poor quality of the footage. The discussion was interrupted when David noticed something unusual in the system. The globe was running a different program from the one they had uploaded. Stephen wanted to go back to check the globe, but Ryan stopped him, reminding him that he no longer had command and accusing Stephen of hiding the truth. Ryan revealed that Richard had found the video of Stephen seeing the strange shape on Earth months ago. This proved that Stephen knew about the potential threat, but didn't warn anyone, making Peter's death his fault. Offended by the accusation, Stephen left the room, reflecting on what he and David had poured their hearts into for this project. At first, Stephen wasn't sure David should be involved because he was still grieving, but David had convinced him that he was fine and wanted to create a better Earth, so no child would have to suffer like his daughter. A while later, Stephen met David and persuaded him to sneak through the airlock to inspect the globe. Though hesitant because he didn't want to disobey Ryan's orders, David changed his mind when Stephen mentioned the planet's future and his daughter. Upon reaching the cave, they discovered that the globe was creating an alien life form at a faster rate than life on Earth, due to someone having adjusted the settings. Stephen immediately set to work fixing the settings, ignoring David's pleas to return and discuss with the team. At this moment, David noticed on the radar that the alien creature was getting closer. He fired a warning shot to urge Stephen to leave, but Stephen responded by drawing his weapon. Both realized the creature had entered the cave. Stephen quickly grabbed a piece from the globe, and both of them began running as the sounds and shadows of the creature grew nearer. Upon exiting the cave, they finally got a clear view of the creature. Before it could attack, they hurried back to the shuttle and locked the area. David blamed Stephen for putting their lives at risk, but Stephen reiterated that the globe was more important, and he wouldn't hesitate to fire if needed. Ryan appeared and scolded Stephen as well, but Stephen responded that they would have to use force if they wanted to stop him. Ryan didn't hesitate and punched Stephen in the face. Suddenly, the alarm went off, warning that the module structure had been breached. Leona left the control room and discovered the corridor was filled with a strange liquid. She was unexpectedly pulled into another area, where Frank informed her that the creature had made a hole in the cargo floor and was now in the landing bay. The two carefully sneaked into the laboratory, where the air began to feel suffocating. Suddenly, the lights went out, and a strange sound came from behind the plant tanks. The creature was there. Frank pushed Leona out of the room, and she ran while hearing Frank's agonizing screams as the creature killed him. Leona ran to the control room and reported to the team what had happened. Ryan angrily shouted at Stephen, accusing him of bringing the creature back to the ship. The creature had broken through the hole and damaged the main generator. The camera system stopped working, causing them to lose contact with Richard and leaving them without visuals from other areas of the ship. The only solution was to start the backup generator and reconnect the system, but this was extremely dangerous, as they couldn't track the creature. Stephen volunteered to take on this task because of the mistake he had caused. With a weapon in hand, Stephen carefully moved to the generator and restored the communication system. The team quickly tracked the creature and warned Stephen that it was near him. When Stephen tried to leave, he heard a familiar noise. Luckily, Ryan was quick thinking and used a cable to pull Stephen back into the control room. The team gathered to plan pushing the creature out of the ship, with Stephen acting as the bait outside. Stephen waited outside as bait, while Leona opened the airlock and laboratory doors, then quickly hid in another room when the creature appeared. The creature charged through the airlocks, but when Richard tried to start the engine to burn it, the signal was jammed by the creature itself. Stephen ran while Leona came to help, but at that moment, the creature appeared. Richard managed to start the engine just in time, burning the creature with fire. However, it wasn't dead yet, and tried to reach Stephen as he was pulled into the ship by David. Ryan sealed the airlock, and the team quickly patched the breach. Soon after, they found Frank's body. Leona, overwhelmed with grief, considered ending her life. Meanwhile, Stephen remembered Amy. She had tried to convince him not to leave, saying she was researching a vaccine and, more importantly, she was pregnant. But Stephen still decided to leave because he believed saving Earth was more important than his personal life. David entered the laboratory to bandage his wounds, while Stephen took the tentacle for study. He discovered that the creature was a form of biological robot, made from a material similar to the globe. This proved that the goal of the globe was to create these creatures. Stephen informed David that the tentacle had infected him with a bacteria that had a strong defense mechanism. David's blood could now contain the key to creating a vaccine to save Earth. When Stephen cut a piece from the tentacle, the lights on the ship began to flicker abnormally. He remembered the image he had seen on Earth, realizing that this creature was a signal transmission device, a tool used by alien species to colonize planets. Stephen decided they needed to destroy the creature and restore the globe's settings. However, Ryan locked him in the laboratory and declared that he was under arrest for endangering everyone's lives. Ryan accused Stephen of disregarding human lives, and David agreed, saying Stephen just wanted to play the hero without caring about humanity. These words reminded Stephen of his last argument with Amy when she accused him of having a messiah complex and threw her bracelet away. Despite being locked up, Stephen continued his research in the laboratory. He proposed a hypothesis, and Richard confirmed it when checking the mission log. It turned out they didn't jump through space, but through time. They were still on Earth, but 4 billion years ago, before life appeared. The globe they were carrying was the same globe that paleontologists would find later in the future. Though David's injuries worsened, Stephen was excited when he realized that the globe fragment he had taken earlier was the one he would use to make Amy's bracelet in the future. He decided to carve a message on the fragment, guiding Amy on how to activate the globe they had left behind. In the present, Amy arrived at Stephen's laboratory, trying to accept the truth that the team had failed the mission. At that moment, Richard brought bad news. Ryan was preparing explosives to destroy the globe, and had turned off the radio to avoid being stopped. Stephen immediately ordered Richard to open the airlock so he could go outside. When Stephen found Ryan setting the bomb, he tried to convince him that they could come up with a better plan. But the conversation was interrupted when a gunshot unexpectedly killed Ryan. The shooter was David, who had escaped from the airlock and gone mad due to the infection. He believed that the alien creature had chosen him to fix the mistake, as humanity was the system error of the globe. Stephen quickly threw Leona's Rubik's Cube at the wall to distract David and shot him, forcing David to run despite his injuries. Stephen activated the bomb, then fired a flare to attract the creature. He led it to the control room and locked it inside. But on his way to escape, David suddenly opened fire, forcing Stephen to hide. At that moment, the creature broke through the door and approached Stephen. He managed to shoot back, pushing it away, then ran. When Stephen returned to the control room, he ran into David, who tried to kill him. But the creature appeared and killed David first, giving Stephen the chance to escape the ship just before the bomb exploded, destroying the creature. Stephen lost consciousness outside, but quickly woke up when Richard tried to contact him. Richard wanted to come to his rescue, but the storm was too violent. Stephen told Richard to stay, while he returned to the cave to use the globe. Meanwhile, in the present, Amy found the bracelet and discovered Stephen's message. She used it to activate the globe, just as the instructions said. In that moment, between the past and the present, Stephen and Amy were reunited. Stephen hurriedly shared the vaccine formula before confessing his love for Amy. Then the connection was cut off. In the cave, Stephen died from lack of oxygen, leaving Amy crying as she realized she had become a widow. Months later, Amy raised a healthy child thanks to the vaccine Stephen left behind, a vaccine that is now helping Earth become a better place. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to watch more exciting videos.